Yo, what's going on? It's your host, Jackie Chism, back again with another episode of the Chism Sports Groove. That's the CSG if you didn't know. And today we got a great show again. We're definitely going to talk about Monday Night Football tonight against the Saints and the Dolphins. We're definitely going to talk about that huge second half comeback win for the Titans in Titans time. We got some Week 16 to review in good, the bad, and the ugly. We also got some NBA primetime games and some bowl games to talk about today as well in Vegas, baby. And we also have hot news, not news today. Also, I'm going to give you my final thoughts for the day. We'll run down the end of the show and get there. All right, guys. Let's get it. All right, guys, we're back again. We're definitely going to cover the Monday Night Football tonight between the Saints and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are a three-point favorite in this one right now, and we're going to roll with why I think that the Dolphins might actually win this one. All right, so the Saints have been going through COVID protocols pretty heavy right now. No Taysom Hill, no Trevor Siemian. They're actually missing a lot on the defense as well with Demario Davis, Malcolm Jenkins. They're all out. You have Ram checking and your tight end out as well. So they're going to be down some really key pieces like on that team. Definitely opposite to that is the Dolphins. They're just now getting Jalen Waddle back healthy, and he's going to be ready to play, it looks like, for this game tonight. So they're in a good position. I'm not trusting in Book, a fourth rounder out of Notre Dame, to do much of anything out of the ordinary tonight. Look for them to check down, run a lot of quick passes, a lot of easy reads for him. If he starts doing a lot, because he is a scrambling quarterback, if you ever watched him at Notre Dame, then you know that he definitely likes to extend plays and make the most out of things. But I'm not comfortable with doing that against a Brian Flores defense. I mean, these teams are like on two different trajectories right now. The Saints started off the season hot, 5-2. Now, going 2-5 to end the season since Jameis went down week 8. They're struggling, and COVID hitting them as hard as they are, I don't see that that's helping anymore. On the opposite side, the Dolphins started off the season really terrible, 1-7, and after a 6-game winning streak, they're looking really good right now, pushing for a playoff spot. My predictions for the game tonight, I do believe that the Dolphins will win the turnover battle, seeing that it's Tua versus a rookie fourth rounder. I think that the Saints use down a lot of weapons on defense as well, captains at that. Like, they're not going to capitalize and be in the best positions to get as many as they usually would. And with your captains being out, I think the Dolphins are going to also win the penalty battle as well. So look for the Dolphins to run the ball really well, but I think that the Saints will be able to pass the ball well. And with Ian Book and Sean Payton cooking up some shots, knowing that they want to get the ball out of his hand quickly, look for them to actually have the most 20-plus yard plays in that game as well. I don't think that this game is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be a lot of defense, a lot of ball control, a lot of running the ball. So I'm predicting the Dolphins 17, the Saints 13. Dolphins covering the 3-point spread tonight. All right, guys, when we come back, we're definitely going to hop right into Titans time. All right. Yes. Tighten up, guys. I'm excited. Man, we had a great comeback this weekend. It just was a tale of two halves this week. I mean, like, Ryan Tannehill and AJ showed up. Our defense was pretty stingy as usual. I mean, I'm excited to see we actually pulled out a game we needed to. Nobody gave us a shot, so I was very confident in that one that the Titans were going to win, probably by 3 in this game. And that's exactly what happened. Titans 20, the 49ers 17 at this one. Thank you, Jimmy G. Wow. Like, I mean, there was a couple of missed throws. Those 2 interceptions were just gifts. I mean, it just was awesome. I mean, Deebo Samuel is a beast, but I honestly think that AJ is better. Even coming back first day, like Deebo's been in his groove, and he definitely deserves to be a Pro Bowler this year. He's been balling out, but AJ is just ridiculous. Like, the stat line that he's had the most third down conversions in that game, I think 8 third down conversions from receiving was the most since they tracked the stat. It is ridiculous. He's clutch, big time. They knew it was going to him and couldn't do nothing about it. Our running game really did not get that much started, and blocking up front was not as good as usual, but they did better than you thought without Taylor One, without Roger Saffold. You're starting Aaron Brewer, and Dylan Radunz actually started at left tackle for. He got beat a couple plays, but overall it was not too bad. Like, you definitely want Lawan in there, your big money guy and a captain of the team, but I mean, it was not. He had to get his feet wet sometime, right? Our first half was just ridiculous. If I had to blame anybody, it's that blame. It's definitely Todd Downing. Like, the offensive coordinator, like, just called some of the dumbest plays on, like, a first down. Like, we had negative 16 yards the first 2 first downs. So I mean, what were we thinking? Like, what was the game plan going in? You had a few days to think about this, and that's what you came out with. And in the first half, you just saw that our negative plays, like, or just getting nothing on first down, was hindering us. You know, trying to force runs. You know, ending up in 3rd and 10. Like, how are we going to continuously expect Tannehill and that offense to bail out when we're not getting anything on 1st and 2nd down? And that's just a coaching standpoint to me. Like, to be honest, that's probably the only person that I think that I'm going to really think that's bad. I mean, there are some good plays all around, though, for the Titans stuff. I mean, defense was still humming, getting a lot of pressure. Jimmy G, like, shutting down that run game pretty well. They wasn't able to control the clock like they wanted to, forcing them into passing situations, even though Deebo Samuels, it was used everywhere, running the ball, passing it, catching the ball. Like, he's just ridiculous. I mean, if we were able to contain the team as a whole, in which that's what we needed. Like, keeping the score, keeping them under 20 points was our chance of winning, and being able to put 20 points up in the second half was also that. Jimmy G definitely gifted us that first touchdown for us with that throw to Hooker. So shouts out to him for being in the right place at the right time. Everybody in that team definitely stepped up in the second half. That's a Vrabel-led team. I think that as long as Vrabel can get control over that offense, like, we can get a plan going that we can do something with. I think that I like our chances going forward, especially seeing the reports now that Derrick Henry could actually be back for Week 18 versus Houston Texans, at least to get, like, some shake some rust off, to test that foot out, make sure it's good to go, and getting us ready for first round. I'm not so sure if we're going to get a first round bye as well. Kansas City does have a pretty decent schedule, especially as well as they're playing right now. And even though Tennessee's right there with them, we still needed to match them. I think we're one game behind them right now, and we desperately needed a week off if we could get it. I like our chances with home field advantage, only because people still are going to count us out, and as long as we have like some weapons back, hopefully we can use Julio as least as possible the next couple of weeks. Make sure he's like healthy and ready to go for the playoffs. Get our offensive line back healthy. Get some key pieces back healthy. So Jack Rabbit's back out there. Hopefully we can get David Long back. But just ready to go. And we got the Dolphins next week. And then we got the Texans again. We hope Derek is back for. So, whew, man, great win this weekend, keeping us in the second seed. I think that we're going to stay somewhere around the second or third seed. I don't see us losing any more games the rest of the season. With the Dolphins coming in, the Dolphins and the Texans coming up next week and the week after. So, man, it's a great time to be a Titans fan. Great time to see what we're gonna get out of this season, especially with all the injuries and the roster turnover that we've had. I mean, like, that just shows the resilience that we've had, like, going through this season. Like, how the talent in coaching that's actually pretty well in an overall standpoint, like for the Titans as well, that we can just put the next man up and still come out there and get 10 wins, 11, 12 wins on the season. I love to see it, man. That's again, great time to be a Titans fan. All right, guys, when we come back, Vegas, baby. Stay tuned.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
What's going on, guys? Vegas, baby. This is a segment where we go over our locks, chances, and wild cards. Then we give our good, the bad, and the ugly from the week of anything we can bet on. I'm your residential mathematician, Jackie Chism, trying to go over these lines again. We definitely gonna step right back into week 16. Now, I gotta go over the good, the bad, the ugly quick. And we're gonna start with the good, because I mean it's been a crazy week this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely want to start off with the Chiefs maintaining that number one seed over the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers are not playing well this year, but they're still a tough team. And for them to come out and blow them out like the way they did, and not make sure that game was not close, even without Travis Kelce, it just was pretty good to see for them. Like, I mean, I don't like to see it as a Titans fan, but like, the Chiefs are skying right now, and betting wise, they definitely are good to stay with right now. Next, I definitely want to talk about the Raiders covering their spread against the Broncos. Like, I definitely think that the Raiders are an underwhelming team, but there's a lot of turmoil going on. For them to still be right there in the playoff hunt, 7-7, like with everything that's going on, I felt like they were a 7-7 team even without all the drama. But like, kudos to them. I mean, like, like, hats off to them for what they've been able to do, especially beating the Broncos, somebody they see twice a year. They always play tough, even without without a lot of their starters playing. A lot of injuries on the Broncos. They're definitely not a team you can trust, but still the Raiders have been wishy-washy pretty much this whole year. So that's good to see for them. I think I got a first this week as well. For a betting standpoint, I'm going to put the Browns in the good this week, because they were able to cover their 3-point spread against the Packers. I mean, even with Baker's 4 interceptions, they still had over 200 yards rushing. Like, I mean, if Baker can get out of his own way, like, that team was actually pretty good to bet with these last couple of weeks as well. I liked what I saw from the rest of the team. Aaron Rodgers still Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams is still Devontae. So I mean, like, they were able to put up enough points, but it wasn't it still was a close game at that point. So shouts out to the rest of the Bears other than Baker Mayfield, because the Browns, I'm sorry, than Baker Mayfield, because like 4 interceptions, man, like you can't win like that. But everybody else, including that running game, put them in a position. All right. Now, I definitely want to roll right into the bad this week as well. And I can't start off with nobody other than the Ravens. Woof. Even though you don't have Lamar Jackson or Tyler Huntley in this game, like you still would think that your defense would still be there. I know Marlon Humphreys is out. I know Marcus Peters is out. But the defense has still been solid up and down this year. They did get blown out earlier against the Bengals, so being that they're a division opponent, you would honestly think that it would have been closer from a defensive standpoint. But Joe Burrow putting up 525 yards and 4 touchdowns, no turnovers, like it's ridiculous in that one. Like you would think that they would be at least a little bit more competitive on a defensive standpoint. So I mean, I would like to see it as a Titans fan. But you're like, if you're a Ravens fan, or if you're a betting man, you did not like to see a 20-point blowout in that one. Next, I definitely wanted to talk about the New England Patriots as well, losing to the Bills in that one. I think they lost like 21-33. So I mean, Josh Allen had his way at the end there, like controlling the clock, keeping the ball away from him. That offense for the Patriots was anemic and lethargic. Like you just saw that they were one-trick ponies almost, and the hole that they were dug themselves in was not explosive enough to get them out of. So I mean, they have a problem down there with the lack of explosive weapons, and it showed in that one. Like it's a different game when there's not 30-40 mile an hour winds, within the last matchup that they had earlier in the season. So I mean, it's a good win for the Bills. They keep to try to control their own destiny. I think they got one of the weak schedules to end out the season. But the Patriots, they definitely have a lot to worry about right now, especially as late in the season, losing 2 games in a row. You don't like to see it if you're a Patriots fan. If you're the rest of the AFC fans, you do like to see it though. Also in the bad, which is not like really too bad because they've already been in the ugly all year, is the Seattle Seahawks. The way that they lost that game to Nick Foles, like the offensive line for the Bears was iffy at points, but Nick Foles was able to move up and down the field, so shouts out to him. I think that the only reason why I'm putting the Seahawks in the bad is because of the decision making for the team that they played against. Nick Foles actually looked pretty decent. Like I was watching the game and the highlights of it again, and just wondering to myself, like, why would you sign Andy Dalton if you have Nick Foles already? He's already played in your system. He's already won games in your system. He's already done well, and you owe him a crap ton of money. So it made no sense. You could have used that money to sign at least a offensive lineman or two, so that Carlos Dunlap is not just meeting at the quarterback with other guys. Like it's a decision making process from the other team, and you still like give up the 2-point conversion and you still keep the game close. Like for a team that's that inept right now from a head coaching standpoint, it's bad in itself. I don't see Russ coming back. I don't know if Pete Carroll's coming back or not, because he's obviously demonstrated that the team that he's building is not working right now. So look for him to blow it up and start over again. Man, that's just bad to see for a team that was consistently one of the best teams in the last 10 years. Whew. All right, guys, I definitely think we should go right into the ugly as well. Like I'm gonna start off with it. Like I need the Cardinals to win. So if the Cardinals win, the Titans are automatically in. We win our division. But they came out and it just looked like they didn't know what to do half the game. Like the Reeds wasn't there. Kyler really wasn't running. Besides that one big run at the beginning of the game, it just looked bad. I mean, their defense is banged up. I mean, offense, the D line can't stop the run. Carson Wentz looked good in this game, which is hard to say. I'm putting it on the Cardinals. They're in the midst of a terrible losing streak when they were winning with Colt McCoy and Eno Benjamin. Like, I just don't know what's going on right now once you start getting healthy. But, you know, D-Hop being out is a big deal, but it should not be that big of a deal for the offense. You know, like, he does, you know, demand a lot of attention. He does, like, open up the offense a lot more for other people. But Cliff Kingsbury's supposed to be, you know, an offensive guru, and he should be able to, you know, dial up plays to help Kyler, you know, get easier reads and faster reads to move down the field more. Because, I mean, right now it's a struggle. Like, they're looking for the big play, and that's it. If they don't get the big play, they're punting, or, you know, they're again lethargic down the field. Like, their running game is second thought, is afterthought. Even though Chase looks pretty well, like, it's just a sad sight to see. I would love to play them in the first round if I was the Titans, but even though they're in the other division, or anybody who will, like, because right now they just cannot get out of their own way. All right. I was watching the Texans and the Chargers game and just could not understand what was wrong with the Chargers that they could not pull away from them at that point. And at the end of the game, it's the Texans pulling away from the Chargers at the end. It just was a funky game. Like, but the Chargers have been shooting themselves in the foot all year. I mean, they look terrible at some points. That's not a game that they should have lost. I mean, they were 10-point favorites at one point that last week before the game started. It's ridiculous to see that, like, they definitely, like, just fumbled the game away. I mean, Justin Jackson had a good game besides that fumble. I think Herbert had an okay game until that pick six that he threw at the end, just overshooting the guy. Like, but he was completely covered, and that was not the right read. I mean, it just looked bad, and you can see that, like, their coaching and preparation was just lacking again. Like, good old Chargers football. Like, I'm questioning if they will make the playoffs at this time, and in that case, you definitely deserve to be in the ugly right now. Another team that was sliding under the radar but definitely deserves to be in the ugly is the Minnesota Vikings right now. They had a great chance of saving their season and being a playoff team, but their current losing streak, including the Detroit Lions, like, is appalling. Like, they cannot get out of their own way either. I mean, but I feel like that's just indicative of where the middle of the road Vikings have been the last few years with Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer, and, like, just having so many pieces on that defense that's hurt and rotating in and out as well. It just sucks to see, like, so much talent on that offense with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, like, just, like, middling with the rest of the team as well. So I think that they're going to be in the ugly. They're going to end up missing the playoffs as well. They're going to end up blowing up their team if they want to try to be successful going forward with the key pieces that they have around. So look for that just to be like a terrible situation, like this offseason. All right, guys, we definitely want to go right into some NBA primetime games as well. I'm looking at my list right here, and we definitely got the Bulls and traveling to Atlanta to play the Hawks. I'm not sure what's going on with the Hawks right now. Even before the COVID outbreak that's going through, that sat out Trae Young and Clint Capella, but they have just been playing, like, up and down. Some games that they're running up and down the field. John Collins and Trae Young look great. Bogdanovich and Gallinari look like snipers. And in other games, they can't defend. And you wonder, where's Cam Reddish again? Like, you know, to be so talented, man. Like, it's a crazy year for them. I imagine that, like, with all the with all the injuries and COVID that's happening, like that's hit them as hard as well, it's gonna like keep them inconsistent for a time being. But I'm definitely gotta go with the Bulls, man. The Bulls are playing great. DeRozan and Levine are like the duo from hell. Like I would never want to like try to scheme up and try to defend those two. They can score at all levels. They can do whatever they want. I mean, once they get Lonzo Ball back and Caruso back, man, you got some great defenders and passers. Well, Kobe White's playing out of his mind right now. Vucevic is giving him something. Like their defense is very good, and as long as they can give like DeRozan and Levine something every game, like with Vucevic contributing, they're going to be a tough team this year. All right, guys. Next, the Nets are traveling to LA to play the Clippers. I'm not sure if KD is going to be back for that one. I know Kyrie will not be able to play in LA, so like look for Patty Mills and James Harden to continue rolling like they did against the Lakers. But I think that I actually like the Clippers in that one, only because they just lost such a hard game. BJ Boston played one of the best games of his life, missing the final shot at the end yesterday. So look for them to definitely come back pretty strong. I know they're missing PG-13 for the next probably month or so, but the rest of that team is very talented. Look for them to push the Brooklyn Nets without KD. All right, next we definitely got the Boston Celtics traveling to Minnesota to play the T-Wolves. I actually like the T-Wolves in that one. Even if D'Angelo Russell is not able to go, as long as Cat and Ant-Man is like there, I think that they're gonna have a good shot at beating the Celtics. The Celtics are an iffy team, man. Like they you never know what you're gonna get from them. Like they could come out hot and then turn around and blow the lead like they did on Christmas. That's a crazy team. I'm not comfortable with them in this game, even though this is a very even matchups record-wise and probably team-wise as well. But look for, like, since the T-Wolves are at home, look for them to win that one. All right, Tuesday, we got the Wizards going to Miami to play the Heat. I actually like the Heat in that one. Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero are heating up right now. No pun intended. But they're definitely playing really good basketball down there. Look for them to continue their trend against the Wizards. I think the Wizards are still missing Bradley Beal. So until they get him back, I'm not going to trust them against like some of the best or the top level teams in the East. All right, also on Tuesday, we got the 76ers traveling to Toronto to play the Raptors. I actually like Joel Embiid in his matchup in this one. I just don't think that there's anybody who's going to stop him from the Raptors standpoint. Look for them to try to keep him out of the lane, but Joel Embiid can do it from everywhere. He's a great passer as well, good rebounder. Like he's just a monster right now, and he looks like he's healthy and he looks like he's happy. So, like that's a scary point, man. When you get Joel Embiid healthy and happy. They're playing really well around him. Tobias Harris is back and healthy. Seth is definitely still healthy. He's hitting like wherever. I like Tyrese Maxey. He's a definitely fast point guard that's playing really well. Thibault's back and healthy, so I mean I'm liking what I see out of 76ers. All right, Wednesday we got the Clippers traveling back to Boston to play the Celtics. I actually like the Celtics at home in that one only because the Celtics are in the Garden. I think Jason Tatum is iffy back and forth. So, I mean, that's going to be a big game for him and Jaylen Brown in that one. Look for them to bounce back just because they're at home. I'm just feeling that. I feel that the Clippers are going to have a tough road trip. So, I mean, I think, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to go with them in that one. I'm just going to roll with Boston. All right, and also on Wednesday we got the Lakers traveling to my hometown, Memphis, and playing the Grizzlies. I actually like the Grizzlies in that one because I just don't think the Lakers are gonna get it together right now. Ja's playing out his mind. Desmond Bane's playing really well. Look, Steven Adams back and healthy. Jaren Jackson Jr. is good. Hopefully we can get We can get Dylan Brooks back, and we got some players, man. They got some talent down there in Memphis. I like what they're doing. I hope they keep it up right now, especially if they can keep everybody healthy. All right, on Thursday, 76ers are traveling to Brooklyn to play the Nets. I actually like Brooklyn back at home in that one. I'm not so sure if KD will be back, but I'm just thinking of timeline as well, since especially when you play on Christmas, that he because he is vaccinated, he should be back for that one. So I'm gonna go with the Brooklyn Nets on that one. Just speculating that KD will be back on a purely timeline basis, knowing that he was vaccinated and that he should be back before then. All right, next we got the Cavaliers going to Washington D.C. to play the Wizards. I actually like the Cavs in that one. Man, they are flying this year. Like, surprise, surprise. They are still playing really well in that one. Again, if no Bradley Beal's back to keep them in possession, but keep them in a game possession by possession, then I'm just going to go with the Cavaliers. They've got a great defensive team. J.B. Bickerstaff is a great defensive-minded coach. They just extended him as well. So shouts out to the Cavaliers. They're playing really well right now. I feel like they're going to keep it going, especially like right after Christmas. Everybody's ready to go and hungry for the huge grind of the season, and they're built for it. So like, we're going to keep watching. All right, last but not least, we got the Warriors traveling to Denver to play the Nuggets. Joker did not look well defensively for me in the last game that I just seen him in against the Clippers. Like, he's one of the slowest players in the league. He gets it done, passing, dribbling. Like, he's good at like a good handling the ball. He's good with a jump shot and turn around using his frame back to the basket. But it's just you just see that like the Warriors are just too fast. They move like too much for them for a Joker-led team, and I just feel like it's not even going to be a game. I mean, Steph and Jordan Poole are playing out of their mind. Draymond's running the show down there as well. Like, they're doing great things. I think that the Warriors not going to slow down for the Nuggets. I'm sorry. All right, guys, we definitely want to roll right into some of these bowl games right quick as well. All right, starting off, we got number 20 Houston versus Auburn. Auburn is an SEC team. They do play a lot of good competition all year, so seeing them playing somebody on a lower, like Power 5, a non-Power 5 conference, is even if they're ranked, is going to be an interesting battle in that one. I think that their quarterback, Bo Nix, is transferring to Oregon. So I'm not like, I don't think that they're going to have their starting quarterback in that one. They're going to use like one of the guys that they're premium up as well. Houston's playing out of their mind. This is a huge game for them, like big bowl game for a team and a non-Power 5 conference to be the SEC team. I want to see this game. I think that Houston's going to give them a run for their money. I'm going to go with Houston in that one. All right, next we got UCLA versus number 18 NC State. Chip Kelly. Ooh, he's a good one. I also like the quarterback down there, DTR. I'm following him. I hope that he can stay healthy and do the thing, but I'm going with NC State in this one. They're a good running team. I think that they're going to be they're going to do some crazy things. I saw them against North Carolina and just like in their rivalry game, and it was just ridiculous to see that comeback. Man, like they're nothing to sneeze at. They're definitely a team to watch out for. So look, they can put up points with anybody. So I'm definitely gonna roll with them in that one. Next, we got Maryland against Virginia Tech. Tua's little brother against Justin Fuente, former University of Memphis head coach. I actually like Maryland in that one. I just don't know. I'm just rolling with it. I think that Maryland's has a better quarterback in that one. They got a couple more pieces on offense that are fast. So, I mean, it's just going to be a barn burner. I feel like it could go either way. Whoever wins turnover battle is going to win that one. Next, we got number 19, Clemson versus Iowa State. I'm going to go with Clemson. I think that they've had a bad year, even Like, just from the Clemson standpoint, even though DJ Ugalele has had his up and downs, I think he's going to put it together. They're going to have some game plan, and they're going to show some of those 5-star recruits that they have that's coming in next year, that's going to play big time minutes next year. And look for Clemson to run out the game with that one. Next, we got a big one in 14, Oregon versus number 16, Oklahoma. I actually like Oregon in that one. I think that they're going to be able to put up a lot of points. I think that Oklahoma and their rookie Caleb Williams is definitely going to put up some points as well. They have a stud wide receiver core. I like what Oregon's doing down there still. Like they're just signed a new head coach from the Steelers. So I mean, look for them to send Mario Cristobal the right way. Look for them to get ready for the next year. I just don't see how Oklahoma is going to match up. Their defense has some holes in it this year. So look for it to be like a high scoring game. I'm just going to go with Oregon in that one. All right, next we got number 12 Pittsburgh versus number 10 Michigan State. I definitely like Michigan State in that one, only because I know I've seen a couple of games of their running back. I do like the quarterback for Pittsburgh. He's going to be a high draft pick this year. He's got some talent, definitely got some talent. But I think that the running game for Michigan State with that running back that they have is ridiculous. I think his name's Kenneth Walker. Man, he's ridiculous. And just off the top of my head, me knowing, just seeing the game, and he's a ridiculously good player. Look for them to run the ball down throat. Pittsburgh, I'm going with Michigan State now. All right, last but not least, it's on the hometown team. We got Tennessee playing against Purdue. I'm not liking Tennessee's chances in that one. As long as Tennessee can get the big plays like they know they can, like with that offense, they can be in that game, and they definitely have a chance of winning that. I've seen some highlights of Purdue's offense. They have some weapons out there that can light it up. They've missed Rondale Moore, who plays for the Cardinals now, but they have some nasty speed out there. And Tennessee has some laps in defenses every now and then. So I'm going to go with Tennessee only because it's in Nashville. The game's in Nashville. They're close to home. It's only a 3.5-hour drive from the campus of Knoxville, so to the state to LP Field. So look for Tennessee to maybe come out with this one, being in this game before, knowing playing in Nashville, being familiar. I know that Purdue hasn't been to Nashville much. So it's going to be a different experience for them as well. So, I mean, I'm just going to roll with Tennessee in this one. All right, guys. When I come back, we definitely going to go over hot news and not news.
What?
Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Hot News and Not News. This is the segment where we go over the latest news in the world of sports, and we decide whether if it's hot news, and if it is, we're going to talk about it, and if it's not, we're going to keep it pushing. All right, guys. I definitely want to start off with one of the biggest headlines from the past weekend. The Staples Center is no longer going to be called the Staples Center, and they're going to change their name to the Crypto.com Arena. Is this news to me? Yes, only because of what happened in Staples Center. It's just so iconic of a name. Growing up, it's always been the Staples Center. You know what they were talking about when we talk about the Staples Center. It's one of the most recognized places in all of sports. It's almost as big as Madison Square Garden changing their name. That, to me, because that's, again, one of the biggest places, in the world of sports. Heinz Field. I mean, you know MSG, you know Staples Center. Like those places should never change. Like the name at least. If you're gonna rebuild it, then rebuild it. Get a new stadium, something. But I mean, that's just wild. Like, I mean, I like the licensing deals. Like things do change, but like shouts out to everything that's happened in Staples Center. Thank you for all the memories there. All right, next topic we definitely want to bring up is ISO Joe himself is back in the league. Joe Johnson has signed a 10-day contract with the Boston Celtics. I think he did get in at the end of the game, at the end of a game recently, when the game was out of reach. But I'm glad to see him back in the league. I think this is definitely some type of news, only because of COVID. There's guys that were not given chances, like Isaiah Thomas or Lance Stevenson, that had to go overseas or do other things to play because they were not given the proper opportunities to continue their careers in the NBA. I would like to see some people like a Jeremy Lin get another chance as well. He's doing good in the G League. I would also like to see maybe Jamal Crawford get back in. Like there's a couple other people that definitely going to get like workouts and chances. Probably like a Michael Beasley, somebody like that will get a chance as well, because of all the COVID protocols and the iffiness of the situations going on. There's definitely big news because you like to see people that can put buckets up, and you know what I'm saying, some people that you can still see that like they want to get it done, and we want to see if they can get it done. Like it keeps the game interesting. If they can't, then you just see a train wreck. If they can, then you're like, wow, look at this dude. So I mean, I want everybody that has the ability to get the chance to play in that league, man. Like I want to see as many players as I can to give, because everybody has something different to give. Like Lance Stevenson has something different to give than Isaiah Thomas or Jamal Crawford or Jeremy Lin. So I mean, I love to see every different style that these players bring to the game, and we're just gonna I just think that it's always gonna be a good thing for the NBA. All right, next topic definitely wanted to bring up is the Washington football team last night, and their blowout loss had a little scruffle on the sidelines between two of their defensive linemen, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Do I think that this is news? No. If you lose 56-14 like the way that they did, and they just get dominated on all phases of the game, like you want to see somebody have like some moxie about them. Like, bro, like don't be happy about the loss. Don't sit over there making jokes and side-eyeing and shit like at the end of the game, like when we losing that bad. Like, have some competitive fire about yourself. Have some pride in what you do. Now, it being towards your teammates, like, limit that. But in the quote that Jonathan Allen said, I definitely agree with as well. Things happen. So we definitely got news. Gotta keep it pushing. That happens. Things happen, like you said. All right, last but not least, I definitely want to talk about and bring up today is the Steelers offensive line coach is going to Oregon to be the new head coach. Is this news or is this not news? I think that it's not news. The offensive line has been not that well for the Steelers this year. Like, Najee Harris has not gotten the proper blocking that he needs for most of the time. They do have a bunch of rookies out there playing. So I mean, Ben is slow, and he needed a better pocket for him, like, at this point in his career. So I mean, for them to lose their offensive line coach is not like a Mike Munchak or Bruce Matthews or somebody like that high of a caliber offensive line coach. I mean, I'm just gonna say that that's not news right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's news for Oregon because you have an NFL caliber coach coming in, you know, to coach your new team, and you know, being that he's offensive line coach, he can add a dimension to Oregon that they've not had over the years, and that's being tough in the trenches. So, I mean, from the NBA and NFL standpoint, it's not news because it is offensive line coach that you're probably promote like a position coach up in between there and be just good. But for the college standpoint, it's definitely big because Oregon's definitely like a team that's a little bit close. It's close. They need some moxie in the middle. They need some big boys in the middle that can help with their running game, power running game, and with stopping the running game in the Pac-12 as well. So it's a mixed bag right now. Definitely a mixed bag, but it is news for whichever side you're looking at. All right, guys. When I come back, we definitely want to cover my final thoughts. Check it out, man. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's time for my final thoughts to the day. And NFL is like raging through my mind right now. And I just want to ask the question out loud. Do you trust the current number one seeds to finish being the number one seeds? And then who do you see in the Super Bowl as well? In the AFC and the NFC, it's just like, it's crazy. I think that they have some of the similar problems. There's a cluster of teams at the top, and there's a cluster team in the middle, and you never know what you're gonna get out of those teams as well. It's been a crazy season. It's the most teams that's been over 500 at or over 500 in forever. So I mean, it's been a crazy year. It's like any given Sunday type of year right now, especially with COVID, especially with all the injuries that teams are sustaining right now. You just never know what you're going to get week by week. If I want to start with the AFC, since I'm a Titans fan and I pay a very close attention to that, I think that the Chiefs right now are the number one seed, and I do actually think that they can hold that number one seed. The lack of competition that's coming up for them is going to help. I think that they're getting a groove offensively and defensively at the right time. And plus, Andy Reid and that coaching staff has been there before. They know what they know what they need to do at this point, and they're showing it week by week. I don't know who I see coming out of the AFC for the Super Bowl though, because I don't trust the Patriots at all. Like, they showed this weekend why they definitely should not be trusted. I definitely do not trust Carson Wentz and the Colts. I do not trust Josh Allen and the Bills, because Josh Allen can slip up and give you away a game. I mean, there's so many middle, like 7-7 teams as well, that you just like you see some games like they're going to be all right, and some games that you never know what you're going to get. I don't trust the Bengals defensively, and like in the bigger stage, even though they did just blow out the Ravens. I duck in that inverse, like the Ravens are always in it, even with Tyler Huntley, but I still don't trust them. Like late in the season, because of that defense just showed that they have some issues going on, especially with all the injuries that they have. Everybody has a lot of injuries. I would have to say, like, even if Titans fan or not, like, it's either between the Chiefs and the Titans, man. If the Titans can get healthy with Derrick Henry and Julio Jones and AJ, and they can stay healthy, and you can get like your pressure, get everybody on a defense that you really want, like a David Long and Buster. Like, you can get Jack Rabbit Jenkins healthy, Christian Fulton stay healthy, all the safeties stay healthy. You know, the defensive line's good. Like, that's a scary team defensively, and with Derrick Henry back, like, you can control the game, especially with AJ on the outside. You cannot just load the box and leave AJ by himself. We've seen that 100 times, and AJ's been in a Pro Bowl, so he's trying to get that third 1,000-yard chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a beast right now. So I do, and I don't trust them as well. But I trust them as much as I trust that Kansas City defense when it all counts at the most. You know, so it's a mixed bag in that aspect. So I think that you're going to see either one of those two teams in the Super Bowl. For the NFC though, it's like I'm a little more leaning towards the Packers do keeping that number one seed, especially with their division and their remaining schedule. I don't think that the Rams are going to catch them for that number one seed. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to catch them for that number one seed either. And when it comes down to like who's going to be there representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, I mean, like it's either the Packers or the Bucks, right? But I know Shaq Barrett just went down, another player on that Bucks defense. But I don't like betting against Tom Brady. I just want to see him not succeed sometimes. but I definitely think that like if they can get healthy, they're going to be scary by the playoffs. But healthy or not, they're still the Packers still out there, and I just think that nobody's going to really get in their way. Like once they get Jair Alexander and Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith all together and healthy, like I mean they're going to be like even much more explosive on defense. Which Aaron Rodgers still Aaron Rodgers no matter who he's throwing it to, and the fact that he has Devontae Adams to throw it to like makes it even more scary. So I'm gonna stick with the Packers. I think coming out of there. So I'm leaning more towards Packers, Titans, Packers, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl. I don't want to see a Packers Chiefs Super Bowl because that's happened twice already. We know how that goes. I want to see some new blood in there. I definitely would like to see a rematch of like the Titans Rams or something like that. Like that would be a great one. I think that we would get that. But I don't think Dallas, as you said, as you're seeing, is going to be anywhere near that. They're going to lose the first round because of their quarterback play and because of their running game. Like, if you really truly trust them against a higher caliber team, like you're sick in the head. I mean, it's going to be a crazy end of the season. 17 games instead of 16 is weird. One bye for each side is still weird and getting used to. So. I mean, I'm happy to be here to commentate on it, man. All right, guys. That's another episode, man. I want to thank everybody for watching. First and foremost, please like, subscribe, and share if you can to whoever you want to share it to. Like, I definitely also want to give a shout out to everybody in the Chism Channel organization that handled putting this together. I couldn't do it without you guys. All right, till the next time we meet. Peace.
Brought to you by the Chism Channel and TCC Productions.